Alright, in this video, we're going to pick up some calculus here, and we're going to be talking about limits. We're going to evaluate a limit here. So you got the limit as x goes to 25. You got the square root of x minus 5 all over x minus 25. So basically what you do for any limit problem is begin by subbing in the value and just see what happens. Notice if we sub in the value here, we'll end up getting 0 over 0, which is an indeterminate form. So I always have to give this speech, and I guess I'll do it again, just for clarification. Remember, an indeterminate form and a limit does not exist are two completely different things. An indeterminate form does not mean the limit does not exist, just means that you're going to have to find a clever way of finding the limit rather than just subbing in the value. So there are 7 types of indeterminate forms. The more common ones that you'll run into are 0, 0, infinity over infinity, but there are others. And so basically what you do when you get this indeterminate form, you have to come up with some other way to evaluate the limit. A couple different things you can do. You can factor, maybe expand out some expressions, see if anything will cancel out. You can, when you have square roots, you can do rationalization, multiplying by the conjugate. With trig limits, you can use trig identities. You know, there are a bunch of different things that you can do. Also, you can use L'Hopital's rule. And if you don't know what L'Hopital's rule is, I'll post a video showing you guys how to use L'Hopital's rule. But L'Hopital's rule allows you to take the derivative of the top and the bottom and then sub the value in again and see if you get out a finite value. And the great thing about L'Hopital's rule is you can use it more than once. Those are your options when sticking in a value doesn't work. But don't assume that the limit does not exist just because you get an indeterminate form. I don't want you guys to get any type of problems wrong as it pertains to that. So just make sure you know the difference between the two. So what can we do here? So clearly we can evaluate this limit if we just come up with a different technique. So anytime you see square roots, rationalization is always in play. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to multiply by the conjugate. We're going to rationalize our numerator. So we're going to do some rationalization. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to multiply by the conjugate. So what would be the conjugate of our numerator? Time for a new Sharpie. So what would be the conjugate of our numerator? So our numerator, we have the square root of x minus 5. Well, the conjugate of that would just end up being the square root of x plus 5. Now, when we multiply by the conjugate, we have to do it in not only the numerator, but also in the denominator, okay? So now the limit becomes the limit as x goes to 25. And we got the square root of x minus 5 multiplied by the square root of x plus 5 all over x minus 25 multiplied by the square root of x plus 5. And we just simplify here. So remember, in our numerator, the square root of x minus 5 times the square root of x plus 5, if we use the difference of two squares, that would just give us x minus 25. And so what we would end up with is the limit as x goes to positive 25. And what we would end up with is x minus 25 all over x minus 25 multiplied by the square root of x plus 5. And as you can clearly see here, we can cancel out a x minus 25. And then this just leaves us with the limit as x goes to positive 25. And what we'll have is 1 over the square root of x plus 5. And now we plug the 25 in there now and see what we get. If we plug the 25 in, we'll get 1 over the square root of 25 plus 5. Square root of 25 is 5, so that'll be 1 over 5 plus 5, which is 1 over 10. So, or which is 1 over 10, yeah, but because, 5 plus 5 is 10. So we'll get 1 over 10, and that'll be our limit. So your final answer when we evaluate this limit here is simply going to be 1/10. Or 1 over, not 1/10, 1 over 10, excuse me. That's going to be our limit. That's your answer. So that's how you evaluate a limit. So let me know if you got any questions about how I got the answer. I'll be more than happy to share it with you. I'll see y'all next time.